Ladies and gentlemen, today I will be taking you through the start for a diet and wellness program, a 30-day diet, so to speak, a 30-day fasting program to see kind of what results we can get for it. The way that works is there's a few different types of intermittent fasting options. What we went with, the kind of tried and true method, if you've ever heard of that, is you pick a time frame during the day of 8 hours, and that is the only block of time in the day that you can eat. You can only eat during that time. So for example, if you choose, noon to 8 p.m., that's when you have to eat your meals. And it is a hard cutoff. So there's no snacking, there's nothing like that. So we chose, guys, and we did some measurements. We did some pictures of each of us before and after, eventually pictures, and we did a weigh-in. We did a general body fat test, and then we used a tape measure to go around the stomach as well. The weigh-in, we used a basic scale, any scale that you could find at a department store or Walmart or off of Amazon. For our general body fat tests, guys, they vary wildly. The option that I picked up was the Omron scanner on Amazon. I'll post a link to it as well. It's a pretty decent product for what you're getting. It's probably going to cost you, 20 or 30 bucks, depending on what sale or what promo Amazon is using. It's not NASA science exact, but it's fairly exact. You hold it basically out in front of you. Your hands are touching the metal. You put in some documentation of your age, your weight, your height, things like that, and it'll give you a general body fat test. My weight was 205 pounds. My body fat was 21.1%, and my inches around the stomach was 37. 205 is not the heaviest that I've ever been, but it is darn close. It is within a couple pounds the heaviest I've ever been. And the body fat for me, that percentage is just too high. We're gonna go through this 30 days at least and test it out. With the intermittent fasting, guys, you cannot eat after your 8-hour block. So the 8-hour block that I chose was 11:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Let me tell you why I chose that. For breakfast, if I decided that I was gonna get up and eat at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm eating, dinner, that means at 3, 4 o'clock or so. And that's just not feasible. That's just not feasible for me. I'm not getting up at a point where I feel super hungry, I'm thinking, but I think I can make until 11:30. Even if I'm getting up at 7 or 8, or depending if it's an early day, I'm getting up at 6 or something, I feel like I can make it work. You are allowed to drink things with little to no calories, depending on how strict you are. I stuck to no calories. I will drink some water, for example, in the morning, but if you start drinking, a glass of juice, for example, that counts. But I'm getting in the mindset of these are my 8 hours. And the reason I chose that time block towards the end at 7:30 is I felt like that was a good amount of time to be done with dinner. Most people are eating dinner between 5 and 7 p.m. or so. And then 7:30 was still early enough that I wouldn't feel I would be snacking. The idea is I'm still staying up until 10, 11 o'clock at night, hypothetically. I won't be snacking throughout that time. If my time was too late and I say, hey, I'm going to go noon to 8 or something, or 1 o'clock to 9 o'clock, I'm still going to have dinner at about 6:30 or 7, and now I've got 2 hours where I have access to that food. The plan that I have now is that I'll be finishing dinner about 6:30 or 7. I won't need a snack because I won't be as hungry. With intermittent fasting, with this 8-hour block, the idea is you should be eating what you need to throughout the day, but you simply don't have the time to gorge yourself on food. By the time you finish your meal, you're full, you're not hungry again for another couple of hours or so. That 8-hour block is a short block. You don't physically have the time to eat as much as you would in 10, 12, 14 hours. So we're gonna see how this works, guys. Again, we're gonna put up some before pictures. My before numbers in this 30-day plan, or 31-day plan, I suppose, for the full month is 205 pounds, 21.1% body fat, and then 37 inches around the stomach. We'll see how we go. If you want to follow along with me, guys, pick a 30-day spot and let's get started. All right, we'll see how this goes. So let me talk to you about the results, guys. Week 1, when I first started, the first day, my measurements were 205 pounds, 21.1% body fat, and 37 inches around the stomach, around the navel. That is just slightly under the heaviest I've ever been. I should not be 200 pounds for my body type. I know how I feel. I'm 5'9". I am pretty built. I'm pretty big guy in that sense, but I'm not super tall. and 200 pounds carrying on this frame is just too much, no matter how much I'm lifting, no matter how much I'm prepping for something. Anything under like 180, I really feel way too light, so obviously that's a big range, but I knew when I hit 200 that I needed to get down to that. So after 1 week, guys, so far I have seen some success. My body weight now is 205, or was 205, now it's 202. I lost 3 pounds in 1 week. My body fat percentage is 20.9. I was 21.1, so I lost 0.2% body fat. And my measurement around the stomach right now is the same. I didn't get too much into 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch or things like that, so I measured it at 37 last week, 37 today. So overall, I did lose a little bit of body fat, and I did lose 3 pounds. There's going to be some fluctuation with water weight and what time you're weighing yourself and things like that, but overall, pretty good. So far, so good, guys. The intermittent fasting is working. I do feel less bloated. I do feel some more of my definition coming back in my abs as well. I do feel some of the muscle definition. I'm not as, I guess, flabby, like to the touch, so to speak. I don't feel as bloated. I'm not strictly cutting things with the diet. Like I said, if I had family over the other day and my sister brought cookies and I had a cookie, we went out for ice cream to celebrate a special occasion. We got pizza the day after that. And I just ate in moderation, but a hard cutoff for me, guys, between 11:30 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. That is the only time of day that I can eat. Encourage yourself maybe to test this out. I've got post 1 week challenge pictures as well that I took. I don't know if I see a big difference. Maybe you guys do. It's only a week, like I said. It's hard to do that. If you're doing this along with us, guys, don't get too caught up on the day-to-day, especially with weighing yourself. Don't weigh yourself every day. Even weighing yourself every week, there's going to be some fluctuations. I'm doing that for this purpose of presenting to you guys. So if you do want to do that, maybe just once a week. I don't think you need to do it more than once a week. Do a full test. And like I said, if you want to grab a scale or a body weight measurement, I will post some links on the ones that I use so you can maybe pick those up and see what works for you. So that's it, guys. That's our week 1 update as I enter week 2, or the second full week, so to speak. And so far, I've seen some results. I will keep you guys posted, and we'll see how it goes a week from now. Here's what I got so far. My weigh-in was 198.4. My body fat was exactly 20%, and the inches around my stomach, about the navel or so, was at 37 inches. So what happened was I have lost a total of about 3.5 pounds since last week, a total of almost 6.5 pounds in total since I started 2 weeks ago. My body fat's gone down from about 21% to right now about 20%. And then my inches on the stomach has not changed. Here's how I feel for the most part. I feel pretty good. I'm still sticking with the 11:30 to 7:30 time frame. I have not been super strict with my diet, to be honest, in the first 2 weeks. I've kind of just tested out the eating patterns. If we had pizza as a family, I had that. If we had mac and cheese, I had that. The other night, I really wanted a small vanilla ice cream cone, and I went out and I got one. And I ate it literally at 7:30, on the dot to cut off my time. So I haven't really been super strict. What I'm looking forward to maybe this next week is be a little more strict with the diet when I am eating. Pretty strict on my diet. I do eat mostly paleo, so to speak. I don't eat a lot of grains, a lot of pastas, a lot of breads at all. For me, I feel like that really helps with weight loss and feeling less bloated. I'm going to throw up some pictures. I definitely noticed a difference as far as my tone. I feel like I'm not as bloated. The numbers speak for themselves. Like I said, I've lost about 1% body fat in 2 weeks. I've lost about 6 pounds in total. I'm now under the 200 mark. I started at 205. That is not the heaviest I've ever been, but it is pretty close. It is very, very close. The heaviest I've ever been in my entire life was 206, and that was after a long time of kind of nonstop travel, visiting other countries, eating their food, and really not exercising too well. So when I got on the scale and I saw 205, it wasn't a bad record, but it was pretty darn close. So getting under 200 is definitely where I need to be. Anything really over 195, and I just feel like I'm carrying too much weight. I have not seen a lot of movement on inches or on the stomach, and I am a little surprised on that. It's only been 2 weeks, but I'm surprised my waistline physically has not slimmed a little bit. Now, I have not really focused too much on really going on out. Like I said, I haven't been super strict with the diet. I haven't been super strict with 14 different exercises every day. So all told, guys, I'm liking the intermittent fasting. I definitely wake up pretty hungry and I go to bed pretty hungry, but you don't have the time in 8 hours to eat as much as you want. So right now I'm recording this video. It's about 11:45. I haven't eaten anything yet. I've just had some liquid to keep me hydrated, and I'm gonna go eat a pretty big lunch. I do find sometimes I'm not eating enough. So for example, I'll eat a normal lunch and a normal dinner, which would be fine, but I haven't eaten the rest of the day. I haven't had breakfast or something like that. So I do find myself maybe this last week trying to eat more to make myself feel full. I haven't had any instances of lightheadedness or anything like that. I have been doing a little bit of working out, but mostly running, so I'm interested in this next week, really ramping it up a little bit more, being a little more strict with the diet, and then seeing what kind of results I get. So far, I like it. So far, I really like it, guys. I do constantly feel that I'm pushing myself in this challenge, in this endeavor, and so far, so good. For 2 weeks, like I said, this is the final day of my 30 or 31 day intermittent fasting of taking 8 hours where I could eat and 16 hours off. My eating time was between 11:30 and 7:30 every single day. 11:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Here are the final results, guys. Just did my weigh-ins, 205 pounds, 21.1% body fat, and 37 inches around the stomach. Okay, not quite a waist or hip measurement, just my stomach. Not quite inhaled, not quite exhaled, about the navel or so. I just did my weigh-in. I finished up at 197.8, 19.6% body fat, 19.6, and 36.7 inches. So overall in a month, I lost just under a third of an inch on my stomach. Not a ton, just a little bit. I lost from 21.1% body fat is where I started a month ago, ended at 19.6, so I lost 1.5% body fat, and I lost 7.5 pounds. Overall, I am extremely happy with my results, and honestly, I didn't probably push myself as much as I could. My diet really did not change at all. So I still lost 7.5 pounds, 1.5% body fat, and about a third of an inch on my stomach. I really want to get down into the low 190s to 180s at the most. Right now I'm at 197, which is a little too heavy for me. Even if I'm lifting a lot or if I weigh a lot muscle-wise, it's still a little heavy for me.